Yeah. From the cozy confines of the Starburns Industries recording booth, Harmontown is now in session. Put your hands together for Steve Levy, everybody.
Hey.
And the mayor of Harmontown, Dan Harmon.
All right. Thank you for waiting. Can I get a little more of my favorite person in my headphones? Is that possible? I hear myself better.
You want more of me?
I tried to dance around it, but it's me. Thank you for waiting. If you're a subscriber and you're watching,
Sorry, if it came up late, that was my fault. I got here late.
and also, here's some apologies. We'll just start with the show with apologies because this is like our second really official week doing this out of here. We did 1 week where it was like Church was running around with a camera. This is our second week of like, all right, here we go. We're broadcasting from this booth. So it's it's lit like a preschool. And we're gonna try to make it a little prettier. We'll try to come up with a system where we're starting right at 8 so that you, the subscribers, can at least be gaining things from this transitional period. Like, okay, at least I know it's on time now that there's no audience. Who knows if you like the audience more or hate the audience and are so happy that we're doing this, but in any case, like, we're in progress. Like, we're gonna keep on, like, evolving this.
Is the castle going to be a thing again? Is that going to get back online?
Yeah. We are currently as active as human beings possibly could be in trying to legitimize that space. It's a bunch of city hall stuff. Burbank is a city where parrots are wild. They have wild parrots in Burbank. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy town. You can still walk in off the street into a vacuum cleaner repair shop.
Those are my favorite.
It's an old world community underneath a frozen chocolate shell of antiquity and provinciality, and they saw 900 millennials on a sidewalk at late at night, and they freaked out. But I'm not saying they also, we were in violation of 1,000 codes that
Right.
We didn't know we were in violation.
And yet Chili John's runs unhindered. That place just deals in diarrhea, and yet they're allowed to function freely.
So there's a whole process, and maybe we can, I don't know, people a little NPR of us, but maybe we can make it part of the, maybe we can do like remote pieces where we have Nolan like check in with us. Basically his full-time job, because he used to eat what he killed in terms of booking the room. Now he's just a man without a country, so we're paying him as much as we can to make his job to like get the venue legitimized. So he's like having to interact with city hall people and he's got to go to meetings and things. And
We should be documenting that. Is it possible for us to take like a little Zune and go out there and like podcast from City Hall while we're trying to clear this crap up?
A Microsoft Zune?
A Microsoft Zune. Now, what's the little recordy thing?
A Zoom. I just hadn't heard the word Zune in a while.
I don't know what they're called. I like that we have Church just hanging out in the booth with us.
Yeah, I like it too.
Hello, Church.
So, yeah.
Church is wearing her what can only be described as Matrix trash bag outfit. I love.
And as long as we're shining a spotlight on some of the like Nolan's out there hitting the hard, sweaty streets of Burbank, dodging wild parrots, trying to get our permits back, and let's doff our cap to Chris Baruff, who we're crammed into Burbank's largest Harmon-owned VO booth. When we were building the studio, the room that we're sitting in right now was full of like boxes of social security numbers and inspirational posters from a failed tax company.
Oh.
And there was literally a guy in the corner of the room with the last phone plugged into the wall, no desk, standing and basically saying, yeah, I got to call you back, into the phone next to a garbage bin full of everyone's taxes. I mean, if you were nefarious, if you were a dumpster diver, you could have walked out of this place with, like, it would have been like an Equifax on a very low scale, because probably a bunch of Burbank business owners' social security numbers. But anyways, this place was a pile of garbage. We built, and I said, let's build a booth. The partners at Starburns were like, all right. And we started talking specs, and I was like, guys, one of these days we're going to be podcasting out of this thing. Make it big. Still not big enough to podcast out of comfortably. I mean, not make it look cool. And Chris is therefore. My point is, Chris is a hero right now.
This is the same size as Howard Stern's little.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think you know how it is. Like in TV, it's like whenever, and I'm sure you at home, you know how this works. When they build a set for your TV show, it's like it always looks way too big. You know, you always go like, oh, this is a show about poor people. Why is their house so big? And then the DP always says, trust me, it's going to look like confined. I think that the Howard Stern room is probably twice the size.
No,
of this.
it's the cameras make it look bigger because have you ever seen the Wheel of Fortune? The actual physical wheel? It's tiny. It's like 5 feet across. It looks 20 feet across. But if everything on TV, the Jeopardy set is like as big as this room. But you put 4 cameras in there and you get some angles going and it looks giant. It's all bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're kind of implying that Chris is doing a bad job because it's like if it looks cramped in here, then you're saying it's on him.
I've not seen it on camera. We don't have the same kind of. We don't have Jeopardy cameras in here. We've got
also I think bottoming off our list of apologies. Like last week, I think we were like. I was in a full-on blackout, not so much from drunkenness, but just from like man shame.
I didn't hear the show, but you told me a little bit about it.
And I didn't watch it, and I'm afraid to listen to it. But what I do know is that apparently our faces were behind the microphones the entire time. Like I think that people by and large are like, hey, I like it. I'm a person that listens to the podcast. I wasn't getting as much. Maybe they're getting something indirectly out of the 200 people in the audience, but then there's other things to be gained from our ability to focus and things. I'm sure it's a mixed bag. Aunt Natalie. But you're subscribers, so we take you very seriously.
Did you solve sexism and
no
sexual assault last week?
And I didn't set out to. I don't know what I said. I talked for 2 hours trying to convince people I was a good person. But the important thing that I wanted to talk about that week was it's time for guys to be having these conversations with guys and with each other and with themselves. And that guys and then having said that, I wanted to confine things to expressing my own self to set an example. And I don't want to say, well, guys are like this and girls are like that, but I'm sure I said a bunch of that. But like what I wanted to do was say like, okay, from now on the rule is we speak for ourselves. And so I wanted to just say like that's where I'm at. Consciousness has been upheaved. That's good. You have to aerate soil. You have to chisel the ice when you clean the freezer. Tightly packed things that you don't have to think about. They are flawed things. Whether your revolution is racial, class-based, gender-based, whatever it is, however, 1 man, 1 million man, non-binary march, whatever the movement is, I think it's all, as my therapist said, it can all be summed up as consciousness examining unconsciousness and saying you need to be examined. You can't keep ruling from beneath. And I'm sure I'm saying stuff that I already said last week, but as a writer, I celebrate the unconscious. I was always like I'm the grimy monster. I'm going to teach you that the things that you don't think about are more important than the things that you do think about, and you're being dishonest with yourself. But narcissism is out. It's not fashionable anymore.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
I was just getting good at it.
And, because it's okay to be a big baby, it's okay, but now I think the new rule is, okay, but don't just brag about it and be like, okay, I'm going to do nothing about this. Otherwise, I feel like a fossil.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're dinosaurs. Like we're not even that old. But our way of thinking is just not going to do it anymore. Like we're not allowed to skate by on the the presumption that what we say goes, because that was never a cool presumption in the first place. But now, it's we have to adjust. We must adjust. We must adjust our bust. Yeah.
The bigger, the better, the tighter the sweater.
Hey,
the boys depend on us.
Can I do a little house cleaning and talk about an issue that I don't know the answer to?
Okay.
We're sitting here holding some beautiful glassware made by Jane Cook, one of our solid, lifelong Harmonians. And yet, it's been brought to my attention that she has now left the fold, that she's boycotting us, or what's happening?
I know what you know.
I don't know anything.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Was it because of last week? Because of your?
I don't know. I would find that hard to believe. I don't think so. I think it's possible.
She texted me today and said that she was at the library bar in New York and wished I was there. And so it's not like she's mad at me. Maybe she's just mad at you or Harmontown or what?
Is it definitive? Is it safe to say she's mad?
I don't know.
I don't know if it is.
What do we know?
I tell you what I know. I got a text from her saying that she was going to stop listening to the show, stop kind of following it. But she didn't characterize it as
like sour grapes,
as a complaint. But we're used to processing the announcement that you're going to sever a connection with something as punitive. But I don't. Also, then the question would be, well, then what would you do if you wanted to be healthy? An honorable discharge. What would you do? She's in a unique position because most people have the luxury of they can just stop listening to podcasts.
We asked her tonight to come from New York to be on the show, and she declined. She didn't have the guts to show up and defend herself.
I think when you look at it from her perspective, I'm gonna speak as objectively as possible without any speculation of her subjective experience. But I would say, as somebody, it's pretty easily observable that she was very entrenched with the listenership. She was basically running a kind of unofficial / official, emotionally official
Facebook page,
a Facebook group of listeners and all these things. Like when you're listening is that active. Yeah. Then there's something that for the rest of us can just be, forget Game of Thrones. It has to be an announcement.
Yeah, I mean, but I've always thought it's kind of like a sign of emotional maturity and awesomeness when our regular people stopped coming. Like NT doesn't go to the show anymore. Once in a while, maybe, but a lot of people just go to the drawing room while we're doing this. That's their Harmontown now, is being at the bar.
Some people, they fill up their little cup. Who was the Russian guy? What was his
Anatoly.
name? Yeah, Anatoly used to come. He was it's like, and then if you're immature, you go so you just wanted attention, and now that you're not a special audience member, now you're just gonna bail. But it's there's a positive way of saying that, which is, you were a friend of the show, and you experienced the show on a higher level. And
but also if I went to 5 Grateful Dead concerts, I could go, I've seen enough Grateful Dead concerts.
And if the Grateful Dead brought you up on stage for 3 of the concerts, and you therefore had a Twitter account where people were asking you Grateful Dead questions, then when you decided not to go to a Grateful Dead concert, you might have to announce, I'm moving on. I'm not going to be listening to the Grateful Dead anymore. I will not be at the next concert. And then someone might go, is he mad? But and the answer might be not really.
From talking to Nolan, who I guess has been around the Meltdown for so long, it seems like there were classes, groups of people who came to Harmontown seeking out like-minded people, and they became really close friends, and they would go every week, and then eventually graduated from the program, and then I feel like it was every year he said there would be a new group of people that would come in and get the first row of chairs, and then they would all become friends, and then they would move on, and if you go back through the years, you definitely see
Well, Kevin Day just sent me some posts. There was the Jane gif of the Harmontown sticker being taken off the car.
Right.
And then Jane said, enough of Harmontown nonsense. Time to find some new nonsense. #Harmon frown. #moving on.
Harmon frown. Okay, well, there's some negative connotations.
Harmon frown. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jane, if you're listening, first of all, busted. And second of all, as we're learning from so many of our sisters, you got to step forward, speak up, and say what happened to you so that it can be addressed. We can't. If something bad happened and you want us to talk about it, and then the first step is you can't communicate with animated gifs.
The fact that she was texting me friendly like today makes me think that there's no harm done, or like no sour apples. But also, leaving Harmontown isn't a bad thing. There's no reason why you should always listen to the show.
I think saying Harmonfrown is a bad thing.
Harmonfrown.
Yeah.
You got to turn that Harmonfrown upside down.
All right.
Because pee is yellow. And poop is brown.
On the off chance that the offense was lack of attention, we are now participating in an unhealthy syndrome. So let's move on.
All right.
What else is going on?
How's Spencer's new car? I wish he was here to talk about it, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it.
Spencer got a Honda CR-V. And I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, if Spencer was here, it'd be funny to talk about.
Didn't he already have one, or he had a Ford something or other, right?
He had what was that thing? It was as iconic as the Mystery Machine. It was just so Spencer.
Expedition? I don't even know this. I don't know.
It was purple, and it was it was infused with pot.
When you get your because you've been talking, Dan, because sometimes you talk about how rich you are, and then lately you've been saying that you're broke, or that
pretty broke.
But then you're going to get this Rick and Morty fortune that's coming your way.
I will soon be rich.
I might even, I'll make a pitch, and I might even help you out on this one because I want this to be a thing. Can we get Spencer, like a Mystery Machine? Can we get him an airbrushed, Ford Econoline van with bubble windows and Vikings and dragons airbrushed on the side?
Why are you campaigning to get the guy who just got a brand new car?
I'm saying we could step up that Spencer game a little bit.
What about stepping up my game? Levy just got an Audi. Now Spencer's got a CR-V. Spencer drives me to work every day. I have no car. I got a bicycle.
But you don't want a car.
I don't need one. I do want one.
You do.
I need my next car to be a Tesla, which I cannot afford, so I'm waiting.
Why don't we? Didn't you meet Elon Musk, or what's his name?
Yeah, but I wanted to be different and
have
ask him for a Tesla.
Okay, here's my new pitch. Since you're buddies with the scientific famous people, have him make you a hybrid van. Or an electronic, e-van.
I mean, somebody suggested that I ask Elon, my friend, first name basis, to make me a dedicated Hyperloop from my home to work.
That makes sense.
What's a Hyperloop?
It's an imaginary L train for rich people
that you just go zip.
It's super fast.
Just from
it's one of his many dreams,
right? Because I always said the only reason people want to live up in the hills, the Hollywood Hills, but what if you forgot your wallet? You got to drive all the way back up there. It's a nightmare. But if you did live up there and you were like Drew Carey money or Sam Simon money, and you're up living at the top of Mulholland Drive, you get a zip line to the 3 places that you like to go. You got one.
Didn't we talk about this once?
It was
or ski lifts. No, you fucking have a system of ski lifts where you just get in a chair and go to wherever your job is. Go back to out to your house. Little Dom's drawing room. You have a 4 ski lift system.
You get a number of zip lines that are proportional to your financial bandwidth, contribution to society, whatever metric you want to promote. And so I'm a 5 zip liner, so I get 5. It's like having fast travel.
If I just had a slow ski lift from the drawing room back to my place, that would be worth its weight in gold.
Well, kind of what you're talking about.
Would you die though?
Huh?
Because you just be drinking all the time.
I do it anyway. I'm still here. I might die in a lift going back and forth.
Also, there's liquor in our houses. We're grown men.
Yeah.
We're not.
I don't really have
intervention.
I almost never have actual liquor in my place. Once in a while, if it's a gift, I like to go out to drink.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I don't drink at home unless I'm with someone else.
Right.
We talked about the zip lines. It was years ago. It was our UCB show in New York when we were doing the Great Minds pilot.
Oh.
And you guys were on absinthe, and Spencer was
back when Jane was our friend.
Yeah.
The zip, yeah. I know we talked about the zip line thing. It was a podcast episode.
Yeah. I'm upgrading zip line to ski lift because I don't want to have to hold on to shit.
Why don't you just be like the old lady in Gremlins and take a fancy stair,
the chairlift thing, the stair.
We'll just make Los Angeles like the Winchester Mansion, and then just where those stairs go? They don't really go anywhere. That's just when Jeff needs to get to Glendale. But I just got a bike, which is kind of like the healthy version.
You look
of that.
really good on that bike.
I'll tell you what, man. From where we live, if you get on the bike and go down to Sunset Junction, which is what we did, and
then you're fucked because you got to go uphill.
I know,
all the way home.
but I'm saying like the zip line, you'd be fucked too.
That's why ski lift.
But
ski lift.
One Direction.
Yeah,
it was it's
a great band.
Wonderful experience. I was like, I can't believe.
What if you had One Direction, the band, actually just carry you like on a litter?
Yeah, it's like Schraub now, just connecting dots.
I think if you really had money and you could afford, at some point, everyone has their price. You could get One Direction to carry you like on their shoulders to places if you really, really had the dough. Ugh. I don't know why you would do that.
I worked with them once.
Yeah?
On iCarly.
Oh, right?
Yeah, they only showed up for a shoot day, so I was a stand-in for, I believe it was Zayn, and I had to learn their song, and it was before they got big, like in the United States.
Yeah.
And so, like, during run-throughs, I'd have to sing that song in front of all the Nick execs. And
can you give us a little piece of that?
I don't even remember. I don't know.
Come on. Give me a little bit.
Church, how does that song go? That's what makes you beautiful. It's like what's the hook? Nope. All right. It was like, that's what makes you beautiful. Yeah. I don't remember I don't remember the words. I honestly don't. I try to forget.
I don't even know what anyone's talking about because I'm just thinking about Elon Musk, his beautiful, tall, worked out, masculine, intelligent frame.
You guys look good in those pictures.
What was the circumstance that you guys met each other? I leave town for 4 days and you're hanging out with Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's got kids, and those kids are at that Rick and Morty age. Griffin I don't know if his kids. I don't know.
Griffin?
Well,
you don't name your kid Griffin. It's a fucking horrible monster.
Do not fuck with my friends' children.
Wait,
kids are off limits.
Isn't that horrifying?
A Griffin's like kind of.
Well, I stopped myself halfway through. I don't know what the rule is with billionaires if their kids' names aren't public or something. I'm kidding. I pretend I'm kidding. Strike his name from. I don't know. Did I dox one of his kids or something?
Is that actually his name, or you just like threw a name out?
No, it's not.
Oh. His daughter Chimera, his son Gorgon.
I don't know what the rules are with people's kids. You know, like Adam Savage had I was hanging out with him and his kid at Comic-Con. I took a picture of him. I tweeted it. And then a lot of Adam Savage fans that know him better were like, his kid is off limits. He doesn't want people tweeting pictures and
his kid is actually a myth.
So I took the picture down, and Adam texted me and said, "Yeah, but he just turned 18. He's his own man now. He'd love for you to." Oh. And my point is, everybody's got their own rules, you know, right, like who are we to? Yeah, so then I caught myself. I'm like, I don't know if my friend Elon Musk, my new best friend. I can only speak for myself.
Why did you meet him?
He's my new best friend. I can't name his kids.
How did you guys?
Here's the story. McMahon. He tweeted at the Rick and Morty account, I believe, responding to something McMahon had written, and then they had like a fun conversation about simulations back and forth.
Right.
And then his assistant reached out to us to set up.
So now we're in contact with his assistant, and I think I didn't want to push, I didn't want to smother. I was thinking like be a delicate, cool dude. Sit down, have some chicken with him, talk to him about a couple things. Justin did the voice for the kids.
Did you meet his new toddler daughter, Medusa?
Come on.
Ignoring. I'm not going to let you threaten my new friendship. You two are going to get along.
I'm jealous. I met Adam Savage through you, and I was very excited. And he was walking around Comic-Con in New York with a Neanderthal femur, which is hard to say. He had a femur with him.
Just a leg.
And he was saying it was going to be part of his costume. And
but he wasn't wearing the costume. He was just carrying it around like a beat stick.
But he's famous for these like incredible costumes that are so extreme that you can't tell it's Adam Savage. So
doesn't our friend Ryan Nagata make some of that shit for him? Like the space outfits and
stuff? I
didn't
know that, but I'm not...
I think he does. He made like a full-on NASA space outfit. I think they call them space outfits.
But I'm going to give it a couple weeks, let it cool. Not to play these like... red pill dating rules, but, not seem desperate. Then we reach out to the assistant. Would Elon like to come on Harmontown? Just have a chat.
Oh, okay.
He seems like I don't know how available he is. And the answer, if the answer is, oh no, he does podcasts all the time, then I'm like, all right, fine. Well, will he do ours too? But if the answer is he never does them, then I'm like, okay, cool. But maybe he'll do ours. Because then I've beaten Marin.
And you know what we do?
I've beaten Marin. Because presidents are just schmucks. They're just like 4-year parasites. Like billionaire philanthropists. This guy's a historical figure. It's like having Howard Hughes on your show.
It's like Einstein.
It's like having Howard Hughes on your show, and it's like having Howard Hughes on Howard Hughes' show.
Dan is pointing at himself with 2 thumbs right now.
Yeah.
In case you didn't want to spend $5 on this.
What am I if not the Elon Musk of stupid people? Yeah. It's like it would be a historical event for him to come on the show and have a chat. And from the brief little, conversations I had with him, I just think it would be a really fun conversation because a couple things that I'm really stoked about. My new friend. He likes all the same video games I do. He's like so into like the Bethesda stuff, Fallout and stuff. He even just talking to him about Fallout 4 made me want to go play Fallout 4 again. And also I really without oversharing because I want him to know when it gets back to him. Being friends with Dan Harmon isn't going to put you at risk of any what do you call it? Leaking, oversharing,
Right.
He's not going to Chevy chase you. Don't worry. He's a very private guy. You can have a very discreet friendship with your new friend Dan Harmon.
But how does he know that you're not going to Chevy chase him?
That's what I'm saying. I was using the verb Chevy chase to mean what I did to Chevy, which is like play his voicemail.
I got you.
Elon can leave me a voicemail saying like, I don't really I'm having trouble with this mountain digging machine, and I just need your help. And I know you play a lot of Minecraft, and I'll I'm not going to tell the audience. Oh, guess what's going on? Because that'll ruin it. So what was my point? Oh, without over sharing, I just want to say about my new best friend, Elon Musk, that I really liked. One thing about him in particular, from an emotional, spiritual perspective, is during the conversation, we briefly touched on an area of where he was explaining there was a guy basically he didn't like. There was a guy whose point of view he didn't he thought was as he called it very dangerous. And we were talking about the AI thing, and then he was talking about the guy, and I really liked the fact that he was simultaneously totally adamant.
Zuckerberg?
No, totally adamant about how this guy is so his thinking is so dangerous, and but also he never called the guy an idiot. He didn't dismiss him because the guy is dangerous. It's that cool kind of he was a general observing this guy has got a lot of popular thoughts about the direction of this technology, and that guy is he's a dangerous thinker. And when he kind of enumerated the things that were dangerous about this person, it was all rooted in honesty. He was like this guy's good at this, and that, and all of those things that have in common. They're all about deception. They're all about manipulation. And I really, that's why we're going to be fucking capital B, capital F, capital Fs. It's because we're but it'll be like you, me, and Dino.
Big fat fuckers. What? I'm kidding.
You're gonna get along with him.
I want to meet him.
Well, you go, don't fuck it up. Then.
You're making it sound like you're going to steal Elon Musk away from the world, and you guys are going to go live on a little beach together.
No.
You would if you want to.
I was reading this article. He just so Teslas have the automated driving systems, and apparently insurance companies hike up premiums on Teslas, so they created their own They've done it internationally, but are now starting to do it. They paired up with Liberty Mutual, I think, to offer cheaper insurance because self-driving cars are, I guess, statistically safer than regular cars, so the insurance premium shouldn't be raised. They should be lowered. Mm-hmm. And as our society moves closer and closer to having all self-driving cars, the insurance companies are gonna take a massive hit because
Good.
drivers will be much safer. They'll be all automated.
Is it Liberty? Is it Liberty Insurance that there's always some asshole sitting having a coffee in front of the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, and they say some really dumb stuff.
You just bought a car, and then you drove it into a tree. But guess what? That wasn't the smartest thing you ever did. And now they want to. It's like, fuck you. Like I'm just trying to watch news.
Insurance has to be one of the that's like the dorsal fin on the shark of capitalism. Like it's like no, that's not a good metaphor because the dorsal fin just warns you that it's there. It's like it's the ridge on the Rhodesian Ridgeback. it's where it hits its worst, isn't it? It's like it's you go from just regular capitalism, which is arguably like look, it's going to happen anyway. People are going to trade favors. They're going to trade boots for chickens. So when we really knuckled down and said, look, let's create poker chips and we can let. But then you go from that to banking, which is, oh, I'll watch your money while you're gone, and can I give your money to other people, but only theoretically? And then when I hold it, they hold it, and then you hold it, and then I insure the holdings, and then with other, like, okay, it starts to get really sketchy. Then it goes to corporations, which are like, okay, well, this isn't really a person. This is just a company. It's a group of people, and it'll actually live longer than the people that started it, and it also has an interest in politically. And but the real height of it all, like the biggest evil of all, is where it's indistinguishable from organized crime. When people are coming to your home and saying, it would be a pity for something to happen to this fucking house, wouldn't it? It would be really bad. You love your kids, don't you? Sure would hate to see them die. Sure would, I should bet they'd hate to see you die. Hate to see you break your kneecaps. At Liberty Mutual, like, when you get your kneecaps broken, your kids don't have to, starve to death.
Yeah, just give me $200 a month, and I'll make sure that the inevitable doesn't happen. MeUndies makes me feel good where my butt is.
Here's the thing, and the modern podcast landscape has become a fucking apocalypse of joyless mini capitalism. Like what we thought was going to be the way of the future. Oh, let's change the way business is done. It's just turned into like dumb relationships with terrible, joyless agencies and sponsors. We have one shining exception.
Yeah, because I've done let's say maybe 7 different sponsors that haven't given me shit.
No.
But you know who does follow through and brings the goods?
MeUndies.
They clothe your testicles with safety.
How many goddamn ads do we do for fucking order this and get it in a box every month? Companies.
They don't do shit.
They're all bullshit. They're all bullshit. I'll tell you this in this MeUndies ad. All of those other companies are full of shit. I'm always lying when I tell you to buy them.
The only time I can ever... I only feel honest during an ad read for Harmontown is when I'm talking about MeUndies, and I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I'm wearing them right now.
Me too.
I'm wearing them right now, too.
Yeah.
That's not a lie. Can you tell that's not a lie?
It's an incredible product.
I got really high on hash in Washington yesterday. I was in Seattle, and I got really high. And I thought I was like hallucinating that my MeUndies were starting to like migrate around my body, and it was a pleasurable experience.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I get excited about opening my underwear drawer. I wish there was a Me Socks.
There might be.
Well, I'm afraid that would get so close to pantyhose that I'd become, like, turned on by myself.
They are the most comfortable pair of underwear you will ever own. And to check it out yourself, go to MeUndies.com/Harmontown.
In case you're just listening for the first time, like we're being a little inside here. MeUndies is a space-age super company here to save your nether regions from the oppression of cotton with their space-age microfiber modal, which it's more sustainable than cotton. Cotton's raping the earth. Cotton's a fucking garbage. Cotton's the reason why you're unhappy. Cotton elected Trump. Modal is like it's hydroponically generated. Don't quote me on this. Don't look it up. But it's trust me, it's sustainable, it's eco-friendly, and it's super. It's like it just lands on the line between total. If you're a guy, like you're like if you've ever fantasized, you're in love with a girl, and you like look at her panties, and you're like, yeah, just what if I put them on? But the answer is, well, they'd feel good, but
where would you put your dick in your balls?
Right, or something, or
MeUndies has the answer to that question.
Would I worry about who I am and all this stuff? Like, am I now a transvestite? This is like the answer is like just don't wrap your dumb nuts and balls, which are the center of your being, in burlap, like, and then run around the world wondering why you're in a bad mood. Like, cloak them in space age, Elon Musk level comfort, like MeUndies. And then here's another thing: don't buy your undies the way a caveman would. Don't go to the cave, the undies cave, and go like, oh, I need undies. Just use the internet, you dumb animal.
Do you know how many chickens caveman used to have to pay for one pair of underwear?
Imagine
it was like 17 chicken underwear back in the day.
Imagine being a Martian and coming to a planet and going and looking down and seeing smokestacks, atomic clouds, microwaves, Donald Trump, all these things, and going. You'd go like, okay, how do they get their underwear? And if the person said, well, they go to Sears, you'd go, all right, blow them up. Just get rid of them. They haven't figured it out. But if they said, they have the rudimentary step in evolution where they click on a website for their underwear.
Wait, Dan, did you?
And it's made out of and they design their society outward from whether or not they're nuts, balls, vaginas, anuses, and other like gender fluid, non-binary private situations, which are none of our business. And none of MeUndies' business. Yeah. Your privates, they're swathed in comfortable, slick, wonderful clothing. That's a type 1 civilization.
Also, MeUndies doesn't want their ads to be 45 minutes long, but we at Harmontown believe that. And we believe in this product so much.
We're so passionate about it.
Are you guys ready for me to take this to a whole nother level?
Please.
Because look, they have crazy patterns. There's underwear for men and women. It's not just men. I know we talk a lot about the balls and the penises.
Well, that's what we know.
They also have the pussy panties. They have the whole thing. But guys, MeUndies right now, for a limited time only, MeUndies is kicking out the first ever glow-in-the-dark print. Turn the lights out, watch your shit glow. Why not update your underwear drawer and glow at the same time, you benighted sons of bitches?
Nice.
Get me some of those glow-in-the-dark underwears.
MeUndies.com/Harmontown. It's what to wear when the lights go down and your balls and pussies are feeling nice. We almost had it. We almost had it. Fuck it. That's MeUndies.com/Harmontown. We're done.
Yeah. That's great. Is it a limited time only?
Yes, it's for a limited time only.
Oh, yeah,
you can get 20% off your softest underwear ever. Oh, socks. They do have socks.
No, if they have socks, I'm going to fucking die.
Softest underwear and socks you'll ever know. MeUndies. Okay.
Socks?
This is me.
MeUndies, send us some socks.
This is me, Jeff Davis, talking to you. It's been a while since I've got my package of new package covers. I want some new undies. I want those glow-in-the-dark pieces of shit. And I want some socks. Socks.
Are the socks? If the socks feel like the underwear, though, I'm going full.
Me socksies.
Me socksies.
I'm gonna be too sexy.
I'm
gonna be like, what's the difference between me and like my fetishes?
Yeah. You're gonna become
what I want, what I like.
I want you to achieve
be healthy.
that. Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? Wake up! It's a consciousness revolution. MeUndies is this tip of the spear, man. Rose McGowan, MeUndies. Elon Musk, Dan Harmon, and Pete Moss. I threw that in at the end.
MeUndies.com.
People think I'm kidding when I tell this anecdote. This is now a decades old thing. I definitely know I've talked about this before on the podcast, but whatever. I got. When I was living in my apartment, I remember I was like, it was part of my. I was like 27, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out of society. I can't do this anymore. I got an envelope from an insurance company in my mailbox, and there was a photo of Christopher Reeves on it, who wasn't dead yet, who had just sustained a horrible, crippling injury, and it was a photo of him all fucked up, not as Superman. All fucked up, and there was a quote underneath it that said, "Don't let what happened to me happen to you. Make sure you're loved. Make sure you're insured so that you're loved." I was like, "What the fucking? If this was a Polaroid, you'd be a mafioso. Like what? Don't let what the fuck is going on? This is extortion."
I know.
Anyways,
and then you you look outside and there's a horse.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it's insane. It's like oh, and so you're listening, and then you're gonna get on your little keyboard and you're gonna go, oh, I got the donut crumbs on my face, and the tears are mixing with it, and it's making me extra briny. So I'm gonna take Dan Harmon to task with my slide rule and because I just like arguing with things, and if I argue with the president, he doesn't listen. So I'm gonna argue with Dan Harmon. So you're gonna type, and here's what you're gonna say. So you're gonna use logic to say something about how, oh, that extreme thing that I said isn't technically true. Well, that's fantastic. You win. You're right. I didn't do any research. I didn't get a degree in this. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You proved me wrong, but I said it.
You're drinking out of a glass by somebody that doesn't even listen to our show anymore.
That's right. I'm what they call an edgelord on Twitter.
Someone signed me up for like I don't know. They've been coming after me. I'm getting these letters in the mail like that I should reserve my plot in the ground and or my like my ash canister or something. Like just take care of it now so that your loved ones don't have to. And every month I get these letters in the mail
from who?
Some service in like Studio City or something.
There's a picture of like a 29-year-old guy with 2 chicks next to him, and it's like, well, Dale has planned his estate early. like that's sexy. Like that's like
yeah. Nothing turns on the ladies like a reserved urn.
It's never too early.
If he cares that much about his own death, he's thinking about me. He's taking the burden off of my shoulders. I'm going to give him the best hand job of his life.
And he's going to go down on me because he's thinking about the future.
And if he dies, guess what? Everyone's a winner.
Nothing. Wait, what did you say again? Nothing turns on the ladies like a reserved urn. Yeah.
Yeah, you have it out there. Just have it like it's the first thing you see when you come into my apartment.
I love the alliteration of reserved urn because it's like it sounds like
you earned it.
It sounds wormy. Reserved urn. You know, it's nothing. It's the opposite of like okay. So hey, can you hand me some of those sandbags? I'm trying to help these flood victims here. Just a moment. I'm reserving an urn.
Ooh la la. Can we, I don't, this is stupid, but you were talking about capitalism. What do you think in the boots versus chickens economy? What's worth more? Like, how many boots per chicken or how many chickens per boot?
Oh, I would say just going from and everything I know about nature I learned from Minecraft. I would say boots would require a great deal of crafting,
right?
And a chicken is just running around.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
You could use a chicken to make a boot, but you're going to need a bunch of chickens.
Let's say I've got a nice pair
of some labor.
Let's say you've got a nice pair of boots that are my size, and how many chickens do you want for those nice pair of boots that you spent a good deal of labor on?
Well, then we get into how many chickens do you have?
It's a seller's market. I need these boots. How many chickens are you going to make me give you?
But are chickens in abundance?
How many eggs do your chickens lay?
Huh? Regular amount.
Are they in abundance?
You're gonna fucking. I mean,
what? I'm gonna what? Bend you over a barrel? Well, welcome to ancient Greece.
They lay the most eggs.
Okay, well, good. Then that's gonna lower your chicken number. Aren't you happy about that?
Okay.
I'm doing you a favor. Look, I got to talk to my manager.
All right.
Let's see if we can finance these boots.
Look, I gotta get these boots. I got an appointment.
Listen, I talked to my manager, and it's looking really good. Like your chicken rating is high because it's great because if your chickens lay eggs, then an egg is essentially a chicken. You know?
An egg just got laid while you were having this conversation.
That's great. It's a great sign.
What are these boots made of?
I want to put you in a pair of boots right now.
Well, how many chickens do you want?
Well, it's just that these boots that you're looking at right here,
right?
These are our VIP boots.
Okay. I want the best boots you have.
I just want to look. I just want to put you. I just want to see you walking out of here.
I'm lousy with chickens. I don't have a chicken shortage, but here's the thing: these are valuable to me because I can apparently trade them for all sorts of services and goods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see you in these boots, but here's the thing: they're going to depreciate in value.
Okay.
As soon as you walk off the lot,
right? And they're made to your foot, and
I don't care about the resale value of these boots. I just need boots to last me through the year.
Let me just put you in a pair of boots that's within your bracket, because you're
within my chicken range.
You don't have the chicken credit to like have these other boots that you were looking at.
Okay, 2 chickens.
These boots here.
I'll give you 2 chickens for these boots.
Oh, if you're gonna give us 2 chickens, I can show you the 2 chicken boots.
What? Look, again, I have an appointment. How many chickens do you want for these boots? Because the more I look at them, I just tried one on. These are lovely.
Yeah, they should be. Those are 17 chicken boots.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that
explains the comfort.
I take off that boot and I go, it's nice almost doing business with you.
Yeah.
And I leave with my 18 chickens. So that's not going to happen.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
Good luck.
I get on my... in this story, do we have cell phone technology yet? Or
yes.
Okay. I get on my cell phone and I say, Siri, where can I get a nice pair of boots for 8 chickens? And Siri says,
I'm playing Phil Collins in the air tonight.
Oh, shit. God, that never works. Okay, I come back and look, I am in a hurry. I'll give you 10 chickens. I'll give you 10 right
10
now.
chickens.
10 chickens, 8.
For these 17 chicken boots?
Yeah. But I'll walk out with them right now. I'm a size 14. These are size 14 boots. What the odds of someone else walking in here with size 14 feet and has 17 chickens to give you?
Sir, I think you got the wrong idea about the chicken cave, a boot cave.
Chicken cave?
Like we're not hagglers. What you do here is we provide a service. We try to put people that don't have boots into boots, and it costs a certain amount to create those boots. And we're essentially like a co-op.
All right.
So
you highballed me at 17. I lowballed you at 10. Let's do business here.
I disagree. I mean, you're looking at it from that perspective. I'm just looking at it from a guy that's like, if you have 10 chickens to spend, I can show you the 10 chicken boots.
There's another egg. Another egg just came out. I mean, these chickens are they're egg factories.
Can I?
Do you know what eggs are? Future chickens.
Yeah, I know. Yes, that's why they were part of your credit rating.
Yes.
I want like fecund chickens.
They're fecund as fuck. Fecund AF chickens.
Have you considered, before we go any further, like I'm gonna put you in a pair of 10 chicken boots.
I don't want your 10 chicken boots.
But I want you to...
You can't walk me back from 17 chicken boots to 10 chicken boots.
So the 10 chicken boots aren't good enough for you, but that's the amount of chickens you want to give for 17 chicken boots?
I think you're trying to rip me off.
Well, that's insane. That's a projection that you came into this cave with.
I'm saying, look, this is a big city. There's other boot makers out here, and some people like to do business.
It's a loose-knit network of caves in a world where cell phones...
If you think the next thing I'm going to say is, here, how about 14 chickens, you're out of your fucking mind. You started at 17. I went to 10. Now you make another offer.
Have you even experienced me going up or down on any of my offers? As far as you know, I'm monolithic in my chicken.
Well, look, monoliths.
I haven't haggled with you, sir. I'm not a dishonest person.
Well, a monolithic business model is not a viable one. It's you have to be able to move.
Maybe what you're interested in is tiny boots for your chickens. They're over here in the women's section.
See, now you're being
no, that's not. I don't know what you got from that, sir. I'm just trying to help you.
Really?
We have a wonderful section over here for all the women.
So women wear tiny chicken boots, and that's
they just like to dress the chickens. You know, it's a more affordable hobby. It kills the time.
I don't want.
As you know, women.
I want these boots less and less now that I know your politics.
Oh. Sir, my only politics are a bootless foot
and that women hating.
No, sir, no.
Diminished women.
Okay.
We love
How
women.
about 17 chickens?
Who the fuck is this guy?
This is Andre.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'm Andre.
Hi, Andre.
Hi.
Look, I'm trying to get these boots. 17 seems high. 17 seems like a lot of chickens.
Then buy the 10 chicken boots.
I don't want the 10 chicken boots. They look like shit.
We shouldn't have even put them out.
Look, I wouldn't pay 10 chickens for those 10 chicken boots.
You'd probably pay 4 chickens for 10 chicken boots. I get your gist, sir.
Yeah.
You're someone that thinks that they're entitled to more.
Do you know what? Have you ever raised a chicken? Do you know what it takes? Do you know the amount of care TLC? Husbandry goes into proper chicken raising?
No, sir.
There's another egg. You're already down 3 chickens right now, by the way. If I walk out here right now, you just had 3 more chickens. These are all fertilized eggs popping out of my chickens right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, the longer we talk about this, the less chickens you're getting.
Okay.
I'm not giving you these fertilized eggs and 17 chickens. How about this?
What about this?
10 chickens, 3 eggs. But you got to raise the eggs. You have to incubate and take care of those young baby chicks.
That's not a service you provide people that have eggs? People don't come to you with eggs?
Sir, I'm here for boots.
Well, if I'm getting into the business of chicken egg owning...
How about this? Okay, look. You give me an idea. What if you and I go into business together? It's kind of an anarcho-syndicalist idea. You give me some boots occasionally. You get all the chickens you want. You get eggs when you need them.
Together we corner a society that is basically boot and chicken based.
Yes.
There's
and we stop this idea that boots and chickens are worth more or
we
less.
We enter
than
the
each other.
idea that power is for sale.
See, now again,
and we own it.
Well, you're making it. This seems more fun until
Wait, you drew me out into. I thought you were.
No, I'm talking about mutual benefits,
Yeah. I like that too. You don't like power?
I'm going to go down to another boot store.
Look, if you have power, you can use it to create communism. Don't you want power?
I could do lots of things with power. How late are you open? I'm going to go check out a couple boot shops and maybe I'll come back.
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Andre, you're not helping.
What else you got besides chickens?
Andre?
Yes.
What are you doing this afternoon?
I'm working.
10 chickens says you're my new assistant.
What the?
You're going to give me 10 chickens to be your assistant?
Yeah, how about this? I'm going to give you 10 chickens just to have lunch with me and hear me out.
What?
The fuck you could have had? That's you're blowing.
That means I could buy the 10 chicken
Motherfucker,
boots.
I'm made of chickens.
Well, then what the
17
fuck?
chickens. I'm just a businessman. You don't get this many chickens given 17 chickens away for every boot manufacturer you walk by. I like Andre. I like your style.
You got a deal. I'll have lunch with you for 10 chickens.
Okay.
Andre, after he's done peacocking at this lunch and you come back because there's nothing substantial about the game he's running, you don't have a job.
Well, that's okay, because then I'm going to use the chickens to raise more chickens, and then I'm going to buy those 17 chicken boots.
Andre, what have I always told you? Words don't cover your feet. Okay? He's doing nothing. He's got a pile of chickens. We don't even know they're his. Go to lunch. Good luck. I swear to God, man, when you come back, you are not working at this chicken cave.
I'm going to have a chicken empire, and then I'm going to buy your entire store with my chicken empire.
Later at lunch, listen, Andre, here's the thing.
Okay.
It's not about chickens.
What's it about?
It's about trust.
There's like 3 cavemen playing Bach on a... I assume isn't this kind of like a caveman society?
Kind of, but we have cell phones.
You said I had cell phones.
Well, because I didn't want to deny.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's like there's like a quartet of cavemen violinists. Because it's a fancy cave.
It's a fancy cave.
Where you took them to lunch. It's like Sparrows or Sparkies.
Sabaros? That's fancy. Sardi's. We're at Sardi's. I've flown you to New York, and we're off Broadway. We
at Sparrows.
Yeah, we just saw Hello Dolly with Bette Midler, and we're across the street, and it's 4 cavemen are playing. Listen, Andre.
Yes.
I'm not going to be alive much longer.
Oh, geez.
Yes, I have a rare disease that the doctors don't think I really have much longer to live. But I have to leave these chickens to somebody. And I just have the sneaking feeling. Your business acumen. Hey guys. I give each caveman a chicken to fuck off for a while. Oh, God.
Jeez.
She just ate the chickens raw.
More garlic stuffed olives.
I mean, Andre, I've got.
Olives?
I'm up to here with chickens. I've got all the chickens, but you can't take them with you.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I can't take my chickens with me. I got to leave a legacy.
Oh, yeah.
I got to leave a legacy, is what I'm saying.
Well, what disease do you have?
I have Crohn's.
Oh,
That's not funny. I didn't laugh because Crohn's is funny. There's people listening that have Crohn's. That's not why I was laughing.
it's terrible.
Laughing at the tone of his voice. He decided he had Crohn's.
I think your boss is the kind of person that finds my Crohn's disease hilarious, and he's a bad person.
Crohn's is really rough. My best friend is Crohn's.
Yeah.
He's always in pain.
It ain't no fun.
They cut like feet out of his intestines.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hello, Amber.
Hi, welcome to Spanners.
Sardi's.
Would you like to hear some of our specials?
Sure.
Okay, we have a fungili pasta with extra mushrooms that's grilled over an octopus salad and braised in a simmering Frangine.
We'll take two of those.
Okay, there's more. There's also a braised.
The fungili sounds fantastic.
Okay, all right,
Thank
two of
you.
those then, and I'll. Can I hook you up with any drinks, or are you guys good with your coffees?
Do you have pizza?
We have a flatbread.
Is that pizza?
It's a portobello flatbread. It's done with artisan flatbread out of flatbread, served with flat pieces of bread and portobello.
Put olives on it.
We have suko, which is a Japanese olive substitute. It's basically the same.
We'll take two of those.
Okay, and then do you want that on the side, or do you want that as a tapenade on your Angelica?
Well, yes, the latter.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Thank you, Amber.
Oh, I dropped my pen.
Whoa.
Just getting it off the floor.
I pick up the pen and I notice it has the same. It says Boot Cave on it. You're a fucking spy, aren't you, Amber?
boot grappling, shoelace grapple. Through this cave skylight.
Chickens unite! Out from the valise I brought with me, 17 chickens get out and form a giant chicken Voltron, and attack Amber, the waitress.
Well, we fight, and I die,
Right.
but nobly.
But also, a lot of the chickens die, and then I wonder, you know what? At what price? Boots.
You could have, yeah.
Back at the boot cave, I'm just looking at a photo of my daughter, who left me with her mother because I was too focused on my boots. And I'm hearing their voices say, if you ever get your head on straight, I'll be waiting for you.
Did she become a waitress at Sardi's? Or is this a different person?
Yes. And
You can say no. You can say
all right.
no.
Well, then no.
It's a yes or no question.
Well, then I go. Yeah, no. I also crumple the photo and I burst into flames because my boots. The special expensive Flint boots that I made.
Flint.
That are the sort of crowning achievement of my boot-obsessed workaholic lifestyle that cost me my wife and daughter. I'm fidgeting, like, because I'm thinking about packing and going to finally abandon the boot business and be with my wife and kids. And the flint that my boots are made out of sparks, sets all the boot materials on fire. The whole place bursts into flames because there was no fire permit. Because, Andre is working on that. And I just die. It just pulls back from my cave, and I'm just dying, and I'm dying.
And then right as you die.
I made the right decision.
You did. And then right as you die, Andre comes back and sees the building on fire, and he's wearing boots made of chickens. That are like the nicest chicken boots of all time. And he's the master of both worlds.
Well, our guest tonight on Harmontown has been waiting for a really long time. I just remembered we have a guest.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's bring in. For big fans of the podcast, will remember this guy for sure because he directed the documentary that I produced about myself. I always have to say it in that voice. But it was his movie. He directed it. It's Neil Berkeley.
Yeah.
Can I move this a little bit?
Yeah, move it however you want. Oh wow,
Good to be here.
I'm starting to feel like I should have worn a gray T-shirt to this affair.
I want to point out at the top, because I'm getting self-conscious. The reason Neil's a guest isn't because he made a documentary about me. It's because that's how I know him, and that's how I know he made a documentary recently about Gilbert Gottfried, who also fans of the podcast will know, but fans of comedy will definitely know. So yeah, you just did basically. I mean, did you do the same thing with Gilbert that you did with me?
Yeah, I just started showing up at his house every day. Like, I moved to New York and just started living there. I'd go to his house every day at 9 o'clock while he's having his coffee, and I wore him down. Finally got him to open up. But Yeah, I just sort of like became part of his life and followed him around. Went to like 15 different cities in Mexico and Toronto.
How comfortable was he with you becoming part of his life?
He hated it. For the first 2 months, he hated it. He was one of those guys that he doesn't really say no to anything. If you put something in front of him, he just does it, whatever it is. And his wife said, "Come over and try this." And I would do it every day. And he never even dropped the character. Like, he was in the voice. You met him when he's not in character. But I would go over there and he would talk like that, and his eyes would squint. Yeah. He would do it, and then finally, I was just going over every day, and he stopped doing it.
Oh,
yeah. Really?
That's really interesting.
He does. Yeah, he does. He doesn't. You've met him. It's very awkward to be around.
Yeah, I mean that sounds a little more critical than I would say it, but you're a director, you're not an empath. But I mean, I find it fascinating. I mean, it was his choice because I mean, yeah, like. I grew up on Gilbert Gottfried. Like, he does that character, and but it's not quite like, it's like we're friends with Bob Goldthwait, who would get on stage in the same era of comedy where it was like stand-up was so popular you had to have a fucking accordion or a hammer for a head, and there were some really funny stand-ups who. Like, but it was like, look, you got to have this like character to get like. But then there's these guys. It's like so. Emo Phillips, is he doing a character? I've never had a conversation with him where he didn't kind of sound like the way he sounds on stage. And Bob Goldthwait, there's an easy, definitive line, but you only know it from talking to Bob. Bob owns that line and says, "When I was doing that performance, I did that act. That's not me. I am now me," as a, you rely on him, because otherwise you would listen to Bob and you would go, "Oh, you just made that sound that that screechy Bobcat Goldthwait makes." Like, he does still, because how much of it is like is well, this is how I talk, like sometimes when I get on stage and I have to say something difficult, like I find like I'll cover my eyes, or like I'll just engage in these like really arch behaviors that I know that if I step on the gas there, then it's like, okay, like, well then you can get through the nervousness. So you're not shocked to learn that I brought you on and then did all the talking, but this is what I imagined we would get to this eventually, but now we're right into it.
My question off of what Dan's saying is, when he dropped the Gilbert character, what was he like? What was the difference between the on character and off character?
Well, he wasn't like performing. He did do, for a long time, he would do like canned lines. Like, he would do, it was like being on a talk show with him. People go on talk shows and they've got these canned lines and they know are going to get reactions. It was a lot of that. But eventually he started talking to me about his mom. He was very close to his mom, lived with her till he was almost 40. Devastated when she passed away. His sister is a photographer. She actually shot the whole process of her mother's very sad death. I talked to Gilbert about that and talked to his sister about that. Talked about his father. His father died when he was 19. He had a horrible relationship with his father.
First of all, let's start with the dad. Why was it horrible?
Horrible in that he's one of those dads that was like, become an electrician, get a job. Gilbert quit school when he was 15 and started doing comedy immediately. And he would leave every night to do comedy all night, and his dad just didn't get it. And there were arguments and fights. And then when his dad died, Gilbert expressed a lot of pain about his dad not seeing his success, which every comic I talked to,
that would fucking kill me.
Yeah,
like I don't know what'll happen. Erin, my ex-wife, star of our documentary, she would always say to me, and I know she's right, like, whenever I would say, like, anything about my family, who, like, my parents didn't come to my wedding, I still don't know why, I won't ask them, like, what I said, and then Erin's like, why won't you ask them why they're not coming to your wedding? And I go, because that's what they want. And she's like, you're fucked up, they're fucked up. And when your dad, because she lost her mom when she was 17, and she's like, and when your parents die, you're going to be super fucked up about it, and you're going to make it everyone else's problem, and you need to deal with it. Like, I'm making her sound, I think I'm making her sound like a hero, but if that's to you making her sound like a bad person, believe me, she's not. Like she was saying it, she was telling it like it is, as a person who had a parent pass. And it's sorry to derail you, but like, I'm imagining that, like, because like what I do have with my dad was a moment where my dad said that he was proud of me, and that he observed, like, it was way back in the Channel 101 days. We got a VH1 pilot, and that was enough. My dad said, we were having a celebration party because we got our show on VH1, and there was a bunch of people in a bar celebrating because we had done Channel 101, we had followed our bliss, we had done it for free, and now we had a television show. And my dad expressed to my satisfaction emotionally I arrived. My dad was like, there's a lot of people in there that are very happy because of you, and that makes me very proud of you. And I was like, okay, cool, your hotel's down the street. It ran and just burst into 1,000 tears, and then so I'm done. Now I know I'm going to be all fucked up if my dad dies, but I just wanted to interject that because the idea of being 19, which I was also aimlessly, by any objective, anyone that was watching me would go what is your fucking plan? What are you doing? You're not that funny. Why are you interested in comedy? If my dad died at that time, I can't even imagine. All right, now continue.
I talked to a lot of comics about that, and every comic I talked to, they were all like, yeah, most of us are up there performing for our mothers. We're trying to impress someone that we couldn't impress in the home, and we're trying to do this thing so we can go, look what I did, look at me on TV. And Artie Lange's died before he became successful, and Jay Leno's mother, they all expressed real sadness about their parents not being able to see that.
Is this in your films? I'm sad to say I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Jay Leno, who has this real heartfelt, sincere moment where he says to me, that's the saddest thing.
Because Gilbert's really beloved by other comics.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. Jeff Ross and David Tell, and I think Howie Mandel at the end of their interview said some version of "Don't screw this up." We love this guy.
I asked you, I think when you had just started making it, about there's a story that comics tell about the greatest opener of all time, about the Jonestown Massacre. Did you ever ask him if that was verify that story?
The Jonestown Massacre story. I forget the bit, but yeah, he has a famous Jonestown.
Because I remember. I think Drew Carey told it to me, or other comics know about it, and it's the most famous opener of all time. And it was one of those things where, when a horrible tragedy happens, the day or two after that, it's hard to go up on stage and do comedy, and audiences don't know if they're allowed to laugh at anything, or as a comic, you don't know if you ought to be making people laugh.
That's a big part of the story, yeah.
And but is it in the film, by the way?
That joke?
Yeah.
No.
As I remember it, can I do my bad version of it?
Sure.
I'm sure I'm fucking it up because this is something that was told to me a long time ago. But he was, I think, at the Fillmore, and he's like, "Oh, the Fillmore in San Francisco, what a great place! I grew up here," which I don't think he did. And again, I'm probably making up a lot of the details. And he said, "I saw Janis Joplin here when I was a kid, and I ended up meeting her. I became friends with Janis Joplin. I was with her when she died. She died in my arms. I held her in my arms as she died. So to be here at the Fillmore is amazing. I saw Jimi Hendrix here. Became friends with Jimi Hendrix. Was with him when he died. Held him in my arms. In my arms as he died. Just got back from Jonestown, and boy, are my arms tired." And it was the day or two after the Jonestown Massacre. Now, I want to know, how close am I to getting that right?
That's it. That's the joke. Yeah. The one Bill Burr told me, he saw him do it, and I think it was right after Jackie Onassis died. He said, "I met Jackie Onassis once. First thing I said to her was, 'Do you remember where you were when?'"
I want to go when the Dave Attell's and the whoever else you interviewed, you mentioned a couple names, I love these guys, and they know Gilbert better than I do. I had one encounter with him because of your relationship with him. He came and did my show, whatever, put a pin in that. But when those guys would get up from the end of their interviews and say, "Don't fuck this up, we love this guy," what are they? Do they go into more detail than that? What is it about Gilbert in the eyes of all these other craftsmen that makes him a hero?
When I would always ask that question, what is it about this guy? And they would always just say fearless.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's fearless. He just doesn't have any line, doesn't have any boundaries. He just says whatever he thinks is funny, and they love him for that.
But because he looks scared, and he looks like a weakling kind of, he doesn't look like a tough guy. The fact that body and that body language is so fearless. What was it a film or a special where he just told dirty jokes? He just said jokes?
Yeah, half his act is joke. He hasn't changed his act in 30 years. I mean, he tells Molly Ringwald jokes.
When I was a kid, I saw his stand-up special. Who knows? Cinemax. I don't know what network it was. But he did this set, and I didn't know at the time. I believe now, looking back on it, that he must have been doing Seinfeld. But he did a set, and then he would do his set for a while, and then he would take these little pauses, and then and finish a joke and go, and that's why, and then what do you? Yeah, that's what I want shoes for. And then the audience is laughing, and they stop, and then he'd just like change his tenor and go like, why do you want to talk about that? Yeah. What are you doing shoe jokes for?
Yeah.
His
Seinfeld impression's amazing.
That's actually in the movie. There's a clip of him when he puts glasses on. It's like a side, kind of a Jim Gaffigan aside thing. And he's like, that's crazy. That's nonsense.
Well,
What's he doing?
Is that his Seinfeld impression, or am I just merging those things in my head? Because at the time, I kind of hope it wasn't, because I thought it was genius just as a lateral thing. That it was sort of like Kevin Meaney's, his mom, his inner monologue about his mom. I was just like I love it.
You're like a crazy person.
Yeah, when comics are just like, because I do that too, and also Dana Carvey, when I was doing the Great Minds episode with him where he was doing JFK, like because I had mentioned like Dennis Miller's impression of him. Like Dick Harvey was like no matter what he did for the next 6 hours, then he would just follow it up with this like horrible criticism of himself in the voice of Dennis Miller. He'd just like riff a take because it's a largely improvised show, and then they'd like, okay, cut. Let's do it again, and then if you're like, Jesus, Carvey, what are you? And he would just like lay into himself like under his breath. Anyways, there's something really important about that because Justin Roiland is like, it's Rick and it's Morty. It's
I asked him about that character. He would never cop to it because so it wasn't interesting in the story. Because he wouldn't ever. I was like, "Is that your mom or your dad? Is that someone in your past talking to you like that?" And he would say, "No, I just thought it was funny. It's a bit. It's what I do." But other comics have mentioned that. Like Piscopo brought that up. Piscopo was like, he would do this on stage, and I think it was his mom like berating him or yelling at him.
I think I was like, it's a very. Where's he from? Chicago?
Brooklyn. No,
okay.
Born in Coney Island, grew up in Brooklyn.
I also like Schraub. Like really does that really well too. Like Schraub's inner monologue is like and you're not sure
audible.
if it's his mom or his mom / dad / pastor / gym teacher, but it's like.
But he'll do it in front of you, like he'll talk as his inner monologue.
Yeah, I asked him about the voice and all that, and it's. I wish there was a more satisfying answer, and it's in the movie. And he says, "Look, I just went up on stage a billion times, and eventually I woke up and said, oh, I guess I act like that now.' So that's kind of, he said, this Seinfeld thing is actually a lot of comics brought this up. So before Seinfeld became the Seinfeld we know, like before the Tonight Show, people say that Gilbert invented the Seinfeld impression because he would go on stage before Seinfeld and do Seinfeld's act as Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And they said Seinfeld all the comics would come out to watch, and he would pace and just furious, like, what is that? What's he doing?
Who wears sweaters? Why do you wear a sweater?
But he said that when he comptrolled for us when we were on some tour.
I can't believe I missed that.
He was replacing you.
Yeah, I know. That's a giant bummer.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, now having put a pin in this, I mean that was my one encounter with him. Was like I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what Gilbert Gottfried would be. I'd only ever seen him in performance, and when he showed up, and he was just like very, like, God, I really don't want to use the word frail, but now that I've said I don't want to use it, like now it's in your head. But it's like he was so. Like he was almost in hibernation.
Well,
he was just like sort of like shuffling, and it wasn't a lot of that. He wasn't being passive aggressive. He wasn't like, why am I here? He was totally like down to do whatever was required of him. It was just like this person that was just like. He was just shuffling in with his wife, who was very like, more sort of like kind of almost translating for him, and going like, where should Gilbert go? What do you want from him, and what do you stuff? And he was just very good. And he was like, so what do you want? I can't remember what he sounded like, but I would go like, oh, you just go out there and you just sit in a chair and like explain. I was like, okay, all right, okay, yeah. And I was thinking like, what's he going to sound like when he goes out there?
Right. Yeah.
And then he went out there and people like went crazy, and then he kind of like stepped on the gas of like milking how people were going crazy, and then it's just like, ladies and gentlemen, Harmontown. And I was like, holy shit, Gilbert Gottfried's here.
But that's the reaction a lot of people have, and I remember that. I guess that's what I meant by awkward. Like, when you do meet him off stage, especially if he's about to perform and has to deliver, like, I've gotten phone calls from people that I've set up for him to do stuff, and they'll call and go, "Hey man, is he okay? Does he not want to be here? Is he upset?" Like, because he's very quiet, and he would not be upset if I said this, because people that watch the movie, the way he is physically with people, like anyone with any sort of like spectrum-y stuff in their family have all said there might be a little bit of that going on, because he's very quiet.
You know,
very...
well, don't people say that about Daryl Hammond? Like that. Like, I've never met him in person, but like that's like and then Dan Aykroyd, who has been diagnosed and said, I'm autistic. Like, it's not like people get confused, I think, with performers, because performance is like, it's a natural human occurrence. So we have this delineation where we go, oh, you're performing, as opposed to being real. But no, there's no such thing as a human interaction that's not a performance. We're a political animal, and people who are on the spectrum, like, the reason why it's impossible to diagnose them without 7 years of pointless like tail chasing, whereas you can just look at a kid and go, boom, autistic, not autistic, next. Once you get to a certain age, it's the capacity for performance is so extreme that that person doesn't know who they are. All they know is they don't want to get beaten up. Like, just leave me alone. Like, just let me, or give me whatever. Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to talk like this? Do I have to talk like this? Do I have to talk like that? You talk like this. I talk like that. Like there's functional autism, like, seems to be a big thing in, like, great impressionists, and like and so that comes to mind, because it's like that there would be no delineation with him, unlike with Bobcat, who doesn't have like a bunch of autistic traits. Bobcat is just like, yeah, I'm just this guy, and I kind of got into this scene, and then I stepped on the gas pedal doing this character, and then that started to really punish my life. So I lifted. I got sick of it, and by Police Academy 9 was like becoming self-sabotaging, and like pulled out and like pursued my bliss. You know, but then you have, like, so again, Emo Phillips, Gilbert Gottfried, Daryl Hammond. I hope it's not rude to refer to these people as if they're like some egg basket of people that I'm implying.
I met Emo, like, I did a show with him, and you know, like, he's emo. Like I get the feeling from my limited interaction with him. It's like, after the show, he's like, hey, Jeff, you know, did I do a good job?
And so kind, it's like, oh, thank you so much.
I don't know if I did was funny enough. And
but he's like, talking in a way.
Didn't he try and do it without that for a while? I thought he did another version of his act that was a little more.
So here's the funny thing: if Emo Phillips tries to do that, like, that's another version of a bit that he can do. Maria Bamford does the same thing. Like she has this bit where she goes like, well, should I talk like a like, and then Maria Bamford will just like become her impression of what I'm going to say a neurotypical person. I don't know what Maria, you know, claims to have or doesn't have, but like, I'm just saying, like when she does an impression of a normal person, it's so funny. And then like that's also like Gilbert Gottfried, like in his act, going like pausing in the middle of that, going, now why would you do that joke? And then he like, and it's also unsettling, because it's like, well, I hate to, you know, like my fans are sick of hearing me the peekaboo thing, but that's comedy. It's like it's like the idea that you can't tell the difference, the idea that there is no difference. Like that's.
Well, what Neil was like after. How long were you around him, like in close quarters?
About 7 months. And
what was your relationship like? How did it? So you said how it started, and then you kind of broke through. What's it like now, or what kind of steps did you go through with him?
It's fun. Like, I think he like came up with a routine to be around me. Like, he came up with a behavior around me. Like, he behaves a certain way. We're friendly. We get along. We can. It's not like awkward like it was in the beginning.
Does he enjoy promoting the film, or
he loves it? Well, he loves doing press. He loves doing stuff like this. He'll complain about it, but once he's in there, he lights up and has a great time. He's going.
Does he talk about, like, does he feel more alive when he's performing than? And I mean,
we talk about the movie. He hates it. He said the worst 30 seconds of my life are the 30 seconds before I go on stage.
Oof.
He wishes the manager would come out and say, "Hey, there was a flood. Here's your check. Go home."
Wait, but that's not quite. That's the 30 seconds before.
But then he gets on stage and he's okay.
But then the adrenaline hits him and he lights up. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the thing that I like. Some of the comics I know is that they're maniacs before they're on stage, and on stage that mania is their bliss.
Yeah.
Does he did he talk about does he remember his time on stage? Or does he black out?
No, he not in the movie. He doesn't talk about it, but he did tell me that there's times where he thinks he's more thinking about whether he has to do laundry that night. It's so rote for him. He's right, Mick Jagger can probably go on stage and do his act and not even think about what lyrics he's screaming out. Mm-hmm. He's that into it.
Well, I'm bummed I haven't seen it. Where can we see it now? Is it where is it out?
It's gonna November 3rd. It's gonna be at IFC Center in New York City, where we opened up Harmontown.
And has it had any festival appearances?
Yeah, it's premiered at Tribeca at some few festivals. November 10th, it's going to be in LA at the Lemley Fine Art in Wilshire and the Lemley Monica in Santa Monica.
I mean, I really want to see it in the theater. I know that we're friends, and you've offered to send me the file and watch it, or if you have, I was out of town and didn't know, but I'm such a fan of Gilbert's that I'm really looking forward to just seeing. Also, I like, and not to blow smoke up you. I like the fact that your weird fetish is finding strange lifestyles and then documenting them.
Yeah, well, let's try.
Beauty is embarrassing. Is so gorgeous, and
Yeah, you've got this trilogy now of amazing people. But no, I mean, I can speak from experience because as we talk about, you're definitely not. There's all these different documentary philosophies. Errol Morris might say, no, I don't. There's no such thing as truth. I just want to tell a story. I'll shoot extra footage. I don't. The Measley brothers or whatever the fuck they were.
Measles.
I'm not a documentary.
Measles.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw a documentary about documentary masters, and I was amazed to realize, holy shit, yeah, documentary does not just mean roll the camera and what happens.
Yeah.
However,
they made salesmen, right?
That's
the
first Academy Award. Yeah.
That's kind of a little close to what you do, I would say. You follow around lonely people, and it's beautiful, and
but
it's
also
horrifying
no seasoning, no Lowry's, no salt. They gather footage and then they piece it together.
Yeah. That's the thing that's tragic and you told me. I asked you, hey man, this Gilbert thing is a good idea, and you're like, I don't know. I'm not sure there's gonna be much of a story there. But you were right. It was really hard.
But there's not
he was
really a
you
story.
thought I was hard.
There's not really a story to Harmontown.
Well, yeah, that's probably what it was. Is we're coming off of I would have thought a year before or before we did our time together, I would have thought fucking A, make a documentary about me. Obviously, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
but then again,
and the ending, I was like,
if there is any story, like in terms of story structure to it, it's almost the story becomes more about the audience than us.
Yeah, and Spencer, journey.
Spencer goes on a journey, and the audience is like we learn something about what draws Harmonians to the show.
Yeah,
and that every time I watch the Harmontown movie, it's I tear up at the beautiful things that our guests say.
I had to watch that movie again recently for this thing I was doing. I'm very proud of that movie. I really. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm really proud of the way it came together. And I remember when you got your job back, you said, got some news for you, give me a call or something. I saw you and you go, you're welcome for your third act.
Yeah. At least your credit bed. No, the credit bed was putting Spencer on the show, yeah. But yeah, and it was McGathy who said, we were struggling so much. You were editing and and then I remember it was McGathy who was tell him to make it about Spencer, you fucking idiots, because it was
I've got this great photo that the first day that I was with you shooting, and who's the camera guys?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
And we were at Dan's house, and Dan and Aaron were kind of in a little bit of a tiff, and there's this shot that I just picked up my camera, and I have a picture of you with your camera, and Dan just glowering at his kitchen or at the dining room table, and Aaron looking miserable. I'm like, oh fuck, that was day one of Harmontown. Let's all get in the bus and go around the country together.
One of the first days was actually in this booth. You brought me in here when it was full of those taxes, and there were notary machines. Those things that make the notary, the stamps. It was in. We have footage of that. And then after the tour, the day we got back, you're standing right there, and you said you're like talking to the camera and said, "Yeah, someday there'll be podcasting."
Oh, that's right.
here."
We started the tour.
No, yeah, you have
outside.
footage. I forgot. I didn't even connect that. I wasn't saying that for your benefit, but
Yeah.
I remember you have footage, and I was in that doorway, and I said one of the douchiest, like, talk about edgelord. But I remember saying in the doorway there, I was like, "Yeah, Sony always thought they knew more about writing than me. Let's see if I can run a studio better," or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, great, yeah, what a douche." But
And day one, our driver Jason, we had this awesome tour bus outside. That's the tour bus in the movie. Jason's kind of underrepresented in that film. I think he's kind of in it, right?
Yeah, he's not really in it. He got really good at dodging the cameras.
Yeah, he was hilarious, and he was a maniac, and he was like a Hunter S. Thompson character.
That was one of the best. That was fun, man.
And
That was a lot of
we were
fun.
outside.
I would love to do it again.
Aaron, outside of Starburns, right here in the parking lot, had bought 100 million T-shirts to bring on the bus, so we didn't have room for anything. Like, there was no room for camera equipment or anything. And Jason, the driver, was like, "Fuck this! I quit. I'm going back to Arizona. Like this is a nightmare." Like that. The beginning of that, I had made a prediction, and I think I even said it on camera to you. I was like, "There's no way we make all these shows. There's no way we get to all these shows. It's wintertime. We're going to be on the East Coast."
Sick.
And somehow Jason got us to every goddamn gig on time.
Yeah.
He was a genius.
Did you hit snowstorms?
Oh yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Going to Colorado.
And in Salt Lake City, we were up to our hips. Like, it was...
yeah,
And
no, it was crazy. Like
it would have been a better movie if we didn't make it to some shows.
there are people in other parts of the globe that would, but short of like, well, more so than the worst turbulence I've ever been in on a plane, but slightly less so than like maybe the couple times that I thought I was drowning. On that bus, I experienced like moments where I was like, "Fuck, we're gonna die," because it wasn't really because it was empirically. It was like not as turbulent as the planes, but it was the fact that there was just no visual sense of what was happening. All we knew was that we were on this like road, and that the driver couldn't see, and that it was all white outside, and just white.
And he was supposed to have chains on his tires, but didn't do it because it's bad for the bus, which is illegal, but he still got us through.
Well, if you watch the extended cut, it's in the extended cut of Harmontown. There's shots where he is ripping down the highway and cars are pulled over, and you can hear other truckers going, "Oh, this guy's going way too fast.
Yeah.
Here comes this bus."
He was listening to that.
They're coming
And that's
to
what I
him.
loved about it. He was the Elon Musk of drivers, because he was listening to their chatter, and they were going like, "What the hell's wrong with that guy?" And it's like, because I'm not a slave to the revenue system or something. He had these weird like Hunter S. Thompson things. It's like,
I think it was like day 2 on the road, because our first stop was Arizona, right? Or was doing like Phoenix first or something like that?
Phoenix, yeah.
And he had just gotten to know us and didn't like us all that much. And we had stopped at like a Walmart or something to get like supplies, like to get like,
Yeah.
drinks and fruit and food and whatnot. And I came back onto the bus, and he didn't know that I was on the bus. He was walking around muttering to himself, "These fucking savages, savages, savages."
But that was kind of his bit, right? He liked to
And so
yell and-
I sat down. I go, "Oh, are you a Hunter S. Thompson fan?" Because that's a word that Hunter always uses. He goes, "Yeah." And we sat down and we talked and we became friends, and gradually he loved us.
Yeah.
But he pretended that he hated our guts. Also, he was armed to the fucking teeth. He had an arsenal of firepower on that thing.
What?
Oh yeah.
Like,
A lot of bus drivers do. They have lots of weapons to like save the day. He had guns.
People see that movie and they always ask me, like, was that a rough time? Was that hard? Because they see some of the shots where we're in the room having some, dark, intense conversations. And I always say, no, man, that was a lot of fun.
It was a ball.
It's to eat and drink and wake up in a new town every day.
Apparently, when I left, because I left when you guys were in Denver and somewhere else.
that's
And
right, you left. Yeah, so
I
funny.
had to go like do paying gigs and came back, and the crew looked at me and like, "Oh boy," I'm like, what? Like Aaron and Dan have been going at it. Like apparently you guys had a real bang up, like drunken row on the bus the night before, and they were like, "We're happy you're back to kind of keep order."
we were too similar. I mean, I'm respectfully silent about our breakup because number one, it was mutual, it was amicable, and more importantly, number two, like when I first started talking about how we got divorced, there was a night at Meltdown where one of the interns came up to me and handed me a note from a young lady in the audience, and it said, when I was 10 years old, my parents divorced, and I had to choose which of my parents to live with, and I chose my father and had to listen to nothing but what a cunt my mother was for the next 20 years of my life, and it never changed. And I just want to thank you for having a divorce and respecting your ex-wife.
Wow.
And I was like, and it was exactly what I was thinking in my head when I was like, okay, this is it, and let's, Aaron and I spent our courtship and our marriage Instagramming and talking and airing dirty laundry, and we made a documentary and warts and all, and the whole thing was about transparency. It was, ironically, it was about transparency of a couple of individuals who were so into transparency because we were both so meta, so performance-oriented. Our entire relationship was like a boat made of water. It was like simultaneously like the best idea in the world and the worst. It's like, you're already sinking. It's made of water. But no, it's like fucking the best boat ever. It was one and the same. She and I both were so meta and so. It was like in part, and the documentary, like the reason why that added just even more twists and pressure was because Aaron and I would sit and watch documentaries together, and Aaron was so savvy, so smart, was such a mentor to me as a feminist. I'd listen to what she would have to say about female characters and or real people in media and how they were being, betrayed, supported, attacked, and she went into that documentary going, God damn it, I am not going to be the documentary wife. I'm not going to be the documentary mother. This is like, it's a very, very chiefly female role in the documentary about exceptional people. There's like a female threshold guardian that like their talking head is all about like, well, Dan thinks he's special, but the truth is he needs to eat more vitamins or whatever. And you just like want to throw your shoe at the TV and go, boo! And she was like obsessed with, I'm not going to be that person. And the irony was, and then add to that my obsession with like, oh, I'm not going to be all these other people like that I have in my head.
Did Gilbert, like, with his wife or friends and family of his, were there relationships that were like important to the Gilbert documentary?
His sister, yeah, his sister who passed away a few weeks ago.
Oh, geez.
That's a big part of the story. Not her passing away, but she had cancer, and
were they close?
Very. That's again. I knew nothing about the guy, but every day that he wasn't working, he would do this like 3-mile walk to the Lower East Side to visit one sister, over to the West Village to visit the other, and then back home. Deeply, deeply devoted to his family.
That's great.
Incredibly.
And when they're together with the family, are they like, because there's people who are deeply devoted to family who are like, they're just always like yelling at each other, and then there's people who are like best friends.
No, confrontation's not his thing. He would never, I think if you came at him, he would just cower. They talk about like seltzer and news weather. They don't. It's like most classic older generations,
which I now understand because that's. Like, it is in this tumultuous year where my relationships with myself and everything, it's like, I just realized, oh, that's where family's supposed to go, is this spot between yourself, your friends, society, and then there's this, it's your family, like, and it's supposed to be conversations about weather. It's almost like, if you can just not hit each other, and you just all recognize. I guess I learned that from watching Cody and her family.
Yeah. Does that affect, like, I know about your relationship with your parents, but as you get older and mature, are you ever going to start reaching out and communicating with them, or is it just going to be something that just?
I'm always. I mean, I don't have an acrimonious relationship with my family. I just don't have what Cody has with her family and what I observe with other people, where you have a it's like the default is connection, and if there is no connection, something's wrong, which to me, that I'm looking at that as an abnormal person and saying that's normal. That should be normal.
Is she? Does your family hug? Or I love you? Are they? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we say my family, but and it's like weird because I'm like a bred from the same family, but it's like I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. But it's like, and then you're gonna go like, yeah, it's like. That's why we like, I think, those myths about like the Addams family or like misfit. Like when you lock into like this family, they're kind of like they do things differently. Like they're not like that white bread family that like does things by rote, but it's like we fetishize those like outlaw families and things because they're so different and they're so weird and they have such a different way of expressing it. But the default, everybody kind of agrees, every primate agrees in their fiber that like, yeah, but if you don't have unconditional kind of like a connection, and so that involves ritual and tradition and stuff. But I think that my family, like, I think when we were trying to engage in tradition and ritual, we were so ulcerated about it, like we. And that my parents actually had a triumph while I was growing up of going, you know what, we don't have to do things this way and that way. And for them, they had to realize that family didn't have to be this thing about rules and stuff. Because if they and that was good, but I'm babbling. But I was going to ask, so with our thing, it was like a big threat that, well, we're getting to the end of the tour. This movie's obviously going to span the tour. So where's the story? Where's the story? And that's why it was a great thing in post for Aaron to say, like, make it about Spencer. We're like, oh, shit, you can make it about Spencer. He just goes on the tour, and then you're done. You got a story. Your two other documentaries, you're going to the person's house. You can theoretically just keep going there
forever,
as long as you want.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you is, like, is there a point where you go, I got it, in that case?
Well, in this one, there was. Like, his sister was really like, okay, I see. There's no, like, he doesn't do anything. He's not writing an act. He's not doing a one-man show. So there's no, like, thing to watch.
He's not trying to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There was an Adam West documentary.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to hook into some kind of goal.
Yeah. So he's not doing that, but there was a moment where his sister let me capture something that he's very much a part of. And that kind of tied it all. And I felt like, okay, that's where we see him rise up. Because we hear about the Affleck thing and him screwing that up and getting his job. And then we go through this whole talk about comedy's role in society and too soon and all that. And then we see the result of that, the way he deals with that. But yeah, there was a moment where I was like, okay, that's where I think we can tie this up. But yeah, I could still be shooting right now. Like, you could shoot forever.
Do you have something else that, like, are you the kind of person that has 3 other people that you want to go document, or?
There's a few that yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you did an interview with Piscopo, I'm sure when he walked out, you're like, Jesus Christ, sequel. Got a million questions.
Interesting guy.
No, I do have. I really do have a lot of questions for him because it's like
Dan and I talked. I love that writer's room idea. Like, that fascinates me.
I'm obsessed with that, but I just don't think that all. Yeah, like I said, it's like I was just telling him, like, you gotta just. I mean, yeah, just like, when can we just cover a writer's room for a season of television?
That would be fantastic.
Just when we came back, like, Rick and Morty was in full swing, and I met Justin and Rob was here and Dino, and I was like, hey, Dan, maybe we should get cameras on this because these people are really interesting.
There's also, like, I do a lot of shows, like, at theaters, like performing arts centers and theaters around the country and Canada and other places, and you talk to the stage managers there that have been there a long time, and all the stories they have, it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I just always ask, like, who is just here? And they go, well, Andrew Dice Clay was here, and that was a little interesting. And they tell you the stories. It's so like you get to know a little bit about Andrew Dice Clay, about how fucked up he was before the show, peed on the back wall, disappeared for a while, no one knew where the fuck he was, and then walked out and killed. like was completely blacked out, and then just went out there and destroyed. Then after the show, dead. just like inoperable.
Right.
Carry him back onto the bus.
So interesting, because if you're that person's doctor and you go like, okay, so it looks like you're incredibly miserable right before you go on stage and do this character that you've been doing for 40 years, and then you go back to being miserable. Have you considered? But that's easy for me to say because I'm not a stand-up. I don't have the discipline, like which is going to be a dying craft thanks to assholes like me in this technology where it's like, I just want a guy I can relate to, and it's like, well, then how will you ever become a Gilbert Gottfried? How will you ever become?
Does Gilbert have like
Patton Oswalt?
Any depression?
Yeah. Well, he's got that classic thing that a lot of celebrities have of this is all going to go away someday. Like this could be gone tomorrow. The phone could stop ringing. He talks about that in the movie.
A lot of stand-ups I know, a lot of like really successful comedians have a certain degree of depression.
Yeah.
That like there's a real.
I think happiness makes him depressed.
Right. That's a very Dino and I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like we consume our happiness through sadness, which if you're a biology student, it makes a lot more sense. It doesn't sound as paradoxical because that's what digestion is. You take things in from the outside world and you use like catalyzing enzymes to subvert them, change them, and you make them into something that you can then draw energy from. And like Dino and I are like cynics. So if there's a reason to be happy, like for instance, hey, our movie's nominated for an Oscar, we're not going to we can't just take that form of energy and translate it into something that powers us. We have to pour booze or jokes or self-loathing or self-destruction on that so we can like suck it up like Brundlefly into our system, like but for that reason I do find that like people think that I'm more fucked up than I feel. But I think that people perceive me as less happy than I am. Because if I'm happy, you'll know because I'm listening to M83 and like sound like I'm about to blow my brains out. But it's like because that's when I'm like, I'm Tony Stark. What's there left to do but be Bruce Wayne? I'm gonna like look out the window at Gotham and like drink a drink and be like, fuck.
I feel like
world.
The times that I look back on our friendship, Dan, as of like the times I thought of you as your most open and happy, weren't the times where you were totally on top of the world. Like you are happy now because like things are going well, and you are happy. But when we were really struggling and confused and didn't know where we were going or what was going to happen, like there was a free fall like feeling of like joy in that.
There was for some of that, but then when you were successful and I wasn't, I remember you saying to me, we got in a fight on Instant Message, and something that you said that stuck with me because I was like, he's right. I was like, or not right about right or wrong, but I was like, listen to this, take this in. That you said like, I'm starting to tell you less about my successes because I don't want to hear you have to choke out a congratulations, which was like, I've observed that in other people. It was like, that's important to note, because I also, now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, man, when we were in our 20s and we were broke, we were so happy. Yeah, but then one of your 20-year-old, we were happy in each other's arms, spiraling down a drain of eternity.
We needed friendship to survive, and so that felt like joy because we would hug and cry.
Friendship is more intense and a lot easier when there's no money changing hands.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Friendship, family, that makes you happy, and so when you're broke, like you have a much easier chance of having like really strong friendships, and really
because we needed each other to make it. Like you were paying my bills, and then I was paying your bills, and then you were paying my bills.
Yeah, and if we had it all to do over again, we might go, maybe it's not about making it. Maybe we nailed it with the friendship. Anyways, but I did want to say I wanted to ask one thing, which was that because. Well, that's something that really annoys me at the TCAs or whatever when people ask. It's like, as a person who's famous for putting his foot in his mouth and saying fucked up things, and like Gilbert's got the whole too soon experience and the Affleck firing, all this stuff. Like, I hate it when people ask me this, but I am curious about it with Gilbert. Are there any regrets? Like, would you do it different?
Would I?
Does he address that in the movie? Do you ask him that in the movie? Like, no, would you go back and like he's famous for that moment in the roast where he does the first 9/11 joke on like 9/12 and
no, the closest we get to addressing that is that that Affleck thing only made him more popular. You know, he said nothing of it. He would say
it certainly put him on the right side of comedic history.
Yeah. Nothing he's ever done has hurt him that bad, and most of the things he's done has propelled him. Like, you know, Jeff Ross says at the end of the movie, you know, he sells out. He's more popular than ever. He's gigging all the time. You know, so yeah.
That's fantastic to hear. Yeah, because that's what I always say to those people. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to. I run my mouth. I burn my bridges. But here I am. I'm very happy. Like, I don't regret anything. I don't want to go back in time and, like, say the perfect thing to the New York Times in that one interview. I'm sorry I made that one joke. I'm sorry that offended people. But, like,
I think that the biggest thing you and Wayne and Gilbert have in common, and people like you, is that you're going to do it, but you don't think about the money or the success or the failure. You do this thing, you put it out there, whether it works or not. Like I think everyone wants to be like that. Everyone would love to just not push people around and be a raging maniac, but just people would like to do whatever they want to do that day.
Yeah, just to find out, like, that's what's great about documentaries, especially. Like, I mean, all film or all good film is that there's permission to be strange, permission to be odd and flawed, and there's like a liberating feeling when you watch that, like to know that, like, yeah, you can be sad and still be funny,
yeah,
and you can be lonely and still be happy occasionally, and you can make it and feel like a failure.
Yeah. So can you we don't all get to have a moment in our lives captured in an hour and a half movie. Can you watch that objectively and see a different person and can feel different now, or can you?
I don't know. Well, I haven't watched it. I can't.
I mean, like, do you feel, because you had a lot going on then, like personally and professionally, a lot going on now, but do you feel like a happier person or a?
Definitely happier, yeah. But that's really weird. I don't want to say like I saw a kid, like, I call everybody kids, but like. There was a kid that made a YouTube video that I don't know how I ended up here because I can't Google myself anymore, but I wound up on some YouTube video, and it was like, I don't know, something like Dan Harmon. It didn't say Dan Harmon's a piece of garbage and here's why, so I bothered to click on it, but it was something like Dan Harmon and the meta narrative or something like that, and it was a guy who was talking about how he has been following my career since the beginning, and he was using clips of all work from Community and Rick and Morty and Acceptable TV and the movie, and he was explaining that, you know, just these sort of like weird things about how, like, I don't even know how to say it. Watching that YouTube video, which included so much of the documentary, which it was a tool that guy used to put together a thesis that wasn't about how cool I was, but that was about how cool he was allowed to be. Like how he was learning from me that storytelling, fucking up, succeeding, famous, rich, self-destructive, failure, impoverished, like death, life, like who gives a fuck, like shove them all in a thing. You're not going to get to manage your image, and like the guy was like clearly drawing some permission from that to do what he wanted to do. And I was exceptionally happy in that moment that we made this movie, even though we haven't made a goddamn dime off of it. How like?
Wait, nobody ever made money off
no,
that?
How?
We had 1 million T-shirts.
I don't understand. The reason we made that movie.
You know what we
to
do?
be perfectly frank, is because I was watching on Apple TV. There'd just be documentaries every week. It'd come up and go. It'd be like, I went backpacking across Iraq, and I sure made some new friends. And I'd be like, this motherfucker's rich right now, and I'm not.
It was the Craigslist movie. You kept bringing that up.
The guy's
like,
I thought I thought I'd use Craigslist to Craig some lists. This documentary is called Craiglisting. But
You know what we should do, guys? And I'm not joking. Let's do the European tour, and then it's the Steve Levy story. But we have to.
I mean, but we have to agree. We're not doing it for money.
No.
No, that's what I understand.
No, you're going to lose $100,000 on the tour bus.
Fantastic. Like a good 45th birthday present to myself.
Let's do that again. I mean, would that and be honest? Is there any angle that makes you as a filmmaker want to go do that, or just to go hang out?
I think it'd be fun. It'd be great. Like some of the choices we made. Like we brought remember we brought rolls of green screen. Like we had no idea.
We had
there was a chance.
We had those ear cameras.
Show.
We had those ear cameras that we thought we were going to wear these all the time.
Yeah.
We wore those twice. And,
however,
that worked out.
What we got,
the one of you in the bathroom on the bus.
Yeah,
is really
you cast a wide net, and I'm wearing a fucking lipstick cam on my ear in a drunken blackout. And the entire time he's editing the thing, I'm like, I got that ear cam at home.
Yeah,
I got that thumb drive, and I was like, I would be like, I still got it. I was like so torn. I was like, God damn it, your movie doesn't have this moment, and I think it's on my ear cam because I woke up with it on my ear and a solo cup in my hand.
But there also is a thing that like I don't do drugs. I don't do coke anymore. But apparently, the last time I did it was caught on audio. That there was audio of me.
Can we tell that story?
I fuck yeah. I don't care. I don't do it anymore, so we can talk about the past. But the last time I did it was on that tour.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit left with me.
There's two parts of that story, though.
Okay.
There's me hearing about it and then me telling Dan. The first part is I was called in the edit bay, and they go, hey, we don't know what to do with this, but there's no picture. It's just audio. Anyway, here he goes. And it was, don't stop believing.
It was a power mix of like 5 cities in a row because and it was like the formula didn't waver. He doesn't know anyone's listening. It's like it makes you fall in love with
She's a small town girl.
we were wearing microphones the entire time. I could go to the bathroom. No one's listening.
And there was a come on down to Harmontown. So good.
Jesus
and then
Christ.
I came in and told Dan. I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "When was this?" And I said, "Brooklyn." He goes, "You go that motherfucker."
Yeah, of course.
I asked him every night if he had any. And he hikes him all the way to Brooklyn.
I had some at the very beginning, and then I found the rest of it at the end. I think.
That's why Coke's no good, kids. Like, go get a prescription to Adderall. Like, Coke. I stopped doing Coke when I got my Adderall prescription. I also stopped lying to my friends, and stopped like putting myself in situations where I might get pistol whipped.
But the best was the singing between lines.
No, that's the thing is like you would fall in love with Jeff as a character in a sitcom because it was like so faithful. The bathroom door hinges, and then a standard being flawlessly intoned, and then a tap, and then a. between two.
I admire your sensitivity because you asked me and said, "Hey, we're not going to ever show this. We're not going to use it in the film.
Yeah.
Do you want me to destroy this? Only 4 people know about it." I'm like, let's just leave that. But time has passed, and we can talk about that. Yeah.
That's good.
That trip was so fun.
Oh my God.
I want to find a reason to do that any other time again.
You do it all the time, but you mentioned it once. There is that feeling like you do feel like a rock band walking into these clubs with your cameras. It is like a cool.
And the tour bus getting on and off those buses.
Well, I tend to process everything through negativity and regret instead of just going, "Oh, that was so fun." But it's like the most enthusiastic thing I can say about the idea of doing that again is, God damn it, it was wasted on me. Because I watched the documentary and I'm like, motherfucker, CBS don't give a shit about your script. It ain't ever going to be on CBS.
Well, because you weren't writing it.
Well, I was trying, but it was like don't, like, just have fun.
There was that beautiful moment when Aaron was helping you with it. When you and Aaron, like actually were working together, that was a really beautiful, relationship moment.
There are people right now waiting for work from me that it's like come on, this is just part of the fuck my definition of when I was unacceptably over a deadline was as dumb as my decision to take those jobs and as dumb as my decision to not have the time of my life on this bus. The question would be, am I the kind of person that just can't have fun? You know, can I not go, Jesus Christ, I'm on a tour bus. This rules. This is so fun.
Well, I think that it goes back to that stress of happiness. You find a way to screw that up, maybe.
But I've been in therapy since then, which is something that I swore against back, in those days. I was somebody that was famous for my rants about how therapy's not worth it. And I've been in therapy since, and one of the things I've been unpacking is the possibility of being addicted to stress and misery and stuff, and because it's your comfort zone, because comfort's different from happiness. So you're just like, oh, I know what to do. I'll be overworked. I'll have a deadline. I'll have shit to do. And I do think what's changed, because ask anybody that's waiting for work from me right now, I'm not under that stress, much to their chagrin. They're going to get their money back. I'm like, I've now entered this like new age, I think, where I'm like, fuck work. Like, it's the dumbest, and it will not prove that you're a good person, and it will not make you happy. And so,
but you're. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Your work is a huge part of like your
identity. Yeah, no shit. And that is like, I'm not gonna say that's the problem, because if I like that's not good. Like that's because that doesn't last. But if your work is your identity, guess what?
Yeah.
Then you stop existing.
But yeah, then it's. But I mean, why should I believe that you're ever going to stop doing that? I think like that's what you love. You love creating things. You love getting unconditional love from strangers because you made a good thing.
I think the thing that'll change I think the thing that is changing now is that Rick and Morty, quite frankly, if I can open source my career here for a second, Rick and Morty was always a wonderful, amazing, incredible, fun thing to execute that was always about half of my overhead of living. My price of freedom, the price that I have to pay my masters in order to eat, shit, fuck, jerk off, watch, sleep, blah, 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 whenever I want, in whatever quantity I want. Pick up the tab when I go to dinner, fly first class wherever I go, say yes to any time anyone says, come here, fly here. There's a nut on that, as they say in grody boiler room language. There's an overhead. It's a little over $500,000 a year. Rick and Morty, for the duration of my contract, was like generating around half of that. So I had to, like, number one, I couldn't just do Rick and Morty. Number two, I had to always dread Rick and Morty going the route of Community, because Rick and Morty started as an exit strategy from Community. So now everything that's changed is like Rick and Morty. It's not going to stay this like incredible, like, holy shit, what's this show? Everyone wants to talk about it, to the point where Variety is printing headlines sadly, awkwardly trying to link us to Harvey Weinstein. It's like, I mean, that's when you know you've really succeeded, when there's like clickbait headlines that are like, what does Harvey Weinstein have to do with Beavis and Butthead? Like, that's when you know you're Beavis and Butthead. The answer is nothing except fucking clicks. So this is a show with momentum. This is a show that I can settle into, and I can pay myself to actually do. And that's a huge difference from when you knew me, and from the last. That's the thing that's changed, is that I can actually go, I don't think Turner's going to go out of business. Unless the world just literally like collapses, and if it does, then who cares? Like, I now can see that I can have one job, and that's never been the case since I was 11.
That's great. Well, now get fired from it so we can make another documentary with Neil Berkeley.
No, I want to do the documentary where I'm happy.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That's been our Harmontown. Steve Levy.
We didn't even play Dungeons & Dragons.
We don't have Spencer. There's no Spencer tonight. Neil Berkeley, everybody. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much.
Check out his movie, Gilbert. If you're not a Gilbert Gottfried fan already, you will be afterwards. And if not, go YouTube the hell out of him. He's one of my comedic heroes of all time.
I was looking at the thing. It said 113. Isn't that... Doesn't that mean that we've done less than 7 minutes less than 2 hours?
Yeah, but you know.
Okay.
There's no Spencer.
Yeah.
Let's thank Church and Nolan
7-minute
and
rap.
Chris and Sarah and Brendan out there doing everything for us. I like it here in the booth. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Who's that guy on Twitter that did the "fuck your mama" rap? Did you hear that thing?
No.
Church. Who's that guy? Anybody know the guy's name on YouTube? Holy smokes! There's somebody. If you go to my tweets and my retweets, there's a cat that did a giant "fuck your mama" rap that is so good. Can we find it?
Wait, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, if we can pull it up.
Well, don't make me jealous.
No, you're gonna be jealous.
Should I open for him? Can I warm up?
Let me see if I can find it.
Yo.
Yeah, you open.
Yo. Drop a beat on my foot.
Okay, here.
I saw your mama in the mall. I fucked her like a pack of Paul Malls. I saw your mama, she was 6
In the
feet tall.
mall.
I saw her pussy and I said, that's it, y'all. I climbed up and I went in her womb. I saw your mama in a tomb. I went to New Orleans, it got flooded. I saw your mama and said, what did that do to me? And she said, it gave you pee. And I said,
They gave you pee.
I need more than pee. And she said, well, I teach you the ABCs. And she said, A stands for B stands for fuck. I couldn't. I thought that was gonna go somewhere. All right, yo. Neil Berkeley's mama was born in a titty, New York City.
Born in a titty.
Came out the nipple, said, it's me. My son's gonna make documentaries. So he grabbed a camera, followed her around, and he only had picture, no sound. That's called MOS, and it's from Otto Preminger, I think. No? All right. Yo, if you're a film major, what's up? Where'd your degree get you? What's up? I dropped out of Marquette, and now I have more money than Patricia Arquette.
We don't know that.
That's unverifiable.
No one's going to argue it, though.
All right, okay.
No, it's verifiable.
All right.
We can find out right now.
Yo. Patricia Arquette is a wealthy woman. I saw your mama... okay, all right. I can't rhyme that. Okay, all right. Here we go. Yo. 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 I'm not thinking of rhymes right now. I'm just waiting for a time to okay.
Church
Yo.
or somebody out there, I can't find the link to that.
Your mom was a sandwich.
that guy's
She'd
rap.
have ham and cheese, and I gotta hand it to her. She'd have a side of pickles. I fuck your mom so hard, she got fickle about it. Said, maybe I want it, maybe I don't. I said, well, it needs to be consensual, so I will wait for your answer. And she said, you're a private dancer, so come in. And I gave her the time of her life.
All right, I'm going to unplug out of my thing and go into my phone. Oh, wait, no, shit, I don't have the phone thing.
Doesn't have the phone thing.
What do you mean? You can unplug your iPad and...
No, but I don't have the jack because I got the new phone.
Oh. Send me the link. I'll do it.
Okay, the guy's name is Rob Tanchum.
There's a fucking story I have to tell about Cody that it's got to wait till next week. But that's good that we have a backlog of material. But can we also do, Jeff? If you have the ability to play live, I got it. Can you find a new age kind of Starfield hypnotic thing? Let's do improvised hypnosis tapes for people.
Are we allowed to play this on the show? We are.
Let's do it.
You want to give me the...
Yeah, here's the jack. Let's just do this and get out of here because we're going long.
All right.
We're not. I mean, it's
I'm looped around.
I got karaoke to do and Fernet Branca to drink.
Yeah.
I miss my girlfriend. I've been out of town.
Okay.
Feral Audio.
Oh, yeah. From the cozy confines of the Starburns Industries recording booth, Harmontown is now in session. Put your hands together for Steve Levy, everybody.
Hey.
And the mayor of Harmontown, Dan Harmon.
All right. Thank you for waiting. Can I get a little more of my favorite person in my headphones? Is that possible? I hear myself better.
You want more of me?
I tried to dance around it, but it's me. Thank you for waiting. If you're a subscriber and you're watching,
Sorry, if it came up late, that was my fault. I got here late.
and also, here's some apologies. We'll just start with the show with apologies because this is like our second really official week doing this out of here. We did 1 week where it was like Church was running around with a camera. This is our second week of like, all right, here we go. We're broadcasting from this booth, so it's it's lit like a preschool, and we're gonna try to make it a little prettier. We'll try to come up with a system where we're starting right at 8 so that the subscribers, can at least be gaining things from this transitional period. Like, okay, at least I know it's on time now that there's no audience. Who knows if you like the audience more or hate the audience and are so happy that we're doing this, but in any case, like, we're in progress. Like, we're gonna keep on like evolving this.
Is the castle going to be a thing again? Is that going to get back online?
Yeah. We are currently as active as human beings possibly could be in trying to legitimize that space. It's a bunch of city hall stuff. Burbank is a city where parrots are wild. They have wild parrots in Burbank. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy town. You can still walk in off the street into a vacuum cleaner repair shop.
Those are my favorite.
It's an old world community underneath a frozen chocolate shell of antiquity and provinciality, and they saw 900 millennials on a sidewalk at late at night, and they freaked out. But I'm not saying they also, we were in violation of 1,000 codes that we didn't know we were in violation.
And yet Chili John's runs unhindered. That place just deals in diarrhea, and yet they're allowed to function freely.
So there's a whole process, and maybe we can, I don't know, people a little NPR of us, but maybe we can make it part of the. Maybe we can do like.
Let's fade it out because he's got 9 more minutes of it.
Because he could just keep going forever. Yeah. He's like tapioca pudding.
I fucked your mama in Afghanistan, then back again, and a couple countries impacted by the travel ban.
He became very self-aware at the end there.
No, at the end, that's what I was like. At the end, it was like
he lost his joy.
Joyless and pointless, and it's put her on the toilet. He's like, he doesn't even know.
All right, that's been Harmontown. We're gonna booth fade out. Thank you so much, Neil Berkeley.
Well, let's find that guy and bring him in.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous shit, Rob. Thank you for that. We love you all.